Recently, Republicans told Vanity Fair's Gabriel Sherman that they are deathly afraid of their own voters. And that's why they are allowing President God King Donald Trump to shred the Constitution and destroy our democracy. Now, Trump, of course, started with illegal executive orders, for example, banning birthright citizenship, and continues to try to consolidate the power of the executive branch, taking all these, for example, independent agencies and putting them under his direct control. Okay. And of course, he's now bragging about it, right? Going on social media to his platform,
Truth, essential.
which I'm sure at some point is going to get like a federal subsidy somehow. I wouldn't put it past him. Okay. So he goes on True Social to declare that he's above the law, saying things like, he who saves his country does not violate any law. Excuse me? What? What is that? And not only that, but he decides to rub it in a little further by having the White House's official account on X posting this. Oh yeah, no. What do all these freedom-loving constitutional conservatives? What do they think about it? What are they doing about this? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Republicans have completely folded to everything that Donald Trump has wanted. I mean, look at all of his cabinet picks, for example. They approved all of them. RFK Jr., okay, wants to put people who have ADHD and are on SSRIs into these like literal work camps, labor camps, okay? That's what he's talked about. Tulsi Gabbard, who's a literal cultist, okay? And they're going to likely approve Kash Patel, who also has some serious problems, okay? But yeah, no, totally fine with all of that stuff, okay? And you know why? It's because they are owned lock, stock, and barrel by Donald Trump. All right? It's not only a cult, but also you got apparently some Republicans that are real scared. This is according to former Republicans, right? People like Stuart Stevens. Now, Stuart Stevens had served as a chief strategist on Mitt Romney's 2012 presidential campaign. So, the Mr. 47% there, okay? Remember when that was enough? Calling 47% of the American people moochers was enough to sink your campaign? Now, I miss the simple days back then, okay? Now, Stevens, though, has left the GOP. He's joined the Lincoln Project as a senior advisor. And here's what he said. Quote, of these Republicans, these are the heirs of the greatest generation, and they turned out to be the worst generation. No lies detected there. Damn, he continued. He's saying it's tempting to compare Republicans to Prussian aristocrats in 1930s Germany. But Prussian aristocrats were more responsible. They were dealing with civil unrest and the threat of communist takeover. Republicans today have historically low unemployment, a record stock market. What's their excuse? That's a good question. Okay. And of course, on the left, I know the answer to that. All of that wealth is not being shared with the actual workers. Okay. And that's why there's a lot of anger in the GOP base, because a lot of them are not getting that. Okay. And of course, they're being told, oh, it's the left's fault. It's the pronouns. Somebody put woke pronouns in their email signature one day, and that is for some reason that is why you cannot afford eggs now. Okay, it's just old as BS, right? But look, in that statement though, this guy says, makes a great point about the state of the left in this country, and that is the fact that there is none. Okay, there is no leftist in power. Okay, no threat of communism. Okay, none of that. All right.
Pink-haired communist.
No, none of those. None of those. Our politics is controlled by the right wing. The Democratic Party, I know that the people love to be like, oh, the Democratic Party, leftist, socialist, communists. Oh my God. No, you know what they range for their political leanings? Centrist to center right. That's where the Democratic Party is. Okay. The Democratic Party has completely excised the left from the halls of power. Okay. What you have left are centrists and members of the center right. AOC worldwide would be considered a centrist politician. Okay. Bernie Sanders considered a centrist politician. Ain't nobody. Leftists get bombed by the CIA. Okay. Anyone left of Bernie gets murdered. Okay. That's what happens. And yet, the Republicans and the Democrats, they constantly punch left. Oh no, it's the left that's the real problem. We're the reasonable people here in the Democrats. Okay, we're reasonable, and those people, oh, boogeyman, boo, healthcare for everybody. That is socialism, and that is evil. It's authoritarian, allowing you to actually have healthcare for you and your children. Authoritarianism, while they are literally doing the Republicans' authoritarianism. Okay, but anyway, some of these Republicans are saying, oh, you know what? Hey, look, if it were up to us, we don't actually want to, give Donald Trump all this power, but we're too afraid. We're scared. We're scared. We're so scared. We can't stand up to Donald Trump. Why? Well, the voters. Now, Sherman writes, Senate and House Republicans know Trump will orchestrate the running of a primary challenger backed by Elon Musk's unlimited resources if a member defies him. Gee, that whole money in politics thing really working out great for you guys, isn't it? But Sherman says that this is not the whole story of Republican subservience. In private, Republicans talk about their fear that Trump might incite his MAGA followers to commit political violence against them if they don't rubber stamp his actions. A former member of Trump's first administration told Sherman, quote, they're scared shitless about death threats and Gestapo-like stuff. Yeah, and, letting the all the J6ers go. One of his first acts in office, letting the J6ers go. You didn't think that this would be a problem? You didn't think that maybe, we should try to stand against him? Maybe even run a good primary challenge or vote with the Democrats to not allow him to run again after January 6th? You didn't think to do that? No, of course not. No, of course not. According to one source with direct knowledge of the events, North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis had told people that the FBI had warned him about credible death threats when he was considering voting against Pete Hegseth's nomination for defense secretary. Yeah. Tillis ultimately provided the crucial 50th vote to confirm the former Fox and Friends host to lead the Pentagon. According to the source, Tillis has said that if people want to understand Trump, they should read the 2006 book, Snakes in Suits, When Psychopaths Go to Work. Now, Tillis, of course, is like, oh, I didn't say that. This is false. Fake news. No. And the FBI, of course, has said absolutely nothing. Okay, decline to comment. But if this is true, then this is an example of a coward. Okay, and that's it. The Republican Party is full of them. Okay, cowards. There were so many chances to try to stop this from happening, and they didn't. They didn't take them. Romney had told his biographer, McKay Coppins, that an undercurrent of anxiety thwarted Republican efforts to formally punish Trump for his role in inciting the Capitol riot. One Republican congressman confided to Romney that he wanted to vote for Trump's second impeachment, but chose not to out of fear for his family's safety. When one senator, a member of leadership, said he was heading towards voting to convict, the others urged him to reconsider. You can't do that, Romney recalled someone saying. Think of your personal safety, said another. Think of your children. The senator eventually decided that they were right. Scared little bitches. Okay. That's who they are. All right.
Beta male.
That's it. Putting their personal safety and their comfort and their money over the good of our country. Yeah, these people betrayed their oaths to the Constitution. Okay, they're sworn to uphold the Constitution above enemies, foreign and domestic. And they said, no, actually, you know what? We're gonna vote. We're gonna vote for the fascists. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna support him and do everything that he wants us to do. That's it. Now, Liz Cheney, I got problems with Liz Cheney, right, in her personal beliefs, but she is one Republican that actually has stood up against Donald Trump. And so she gets credit for that. She told CNN that House GOP members had confided to her a story that they were afraid for their own security, afraid in some instances for their lives. This is Representative Jason Crow of Colorado telling NBC News after January 6th. Quote, I had a lot of conversations with my Republican colleagues last night, and a couple of them broke down in tears, saying that they were afraid for their lives if they vote for this impeachment. Republican Peter Meyer, then a Michigan representative, told Atlantic writer Tim Alberta in 2021 that one colleague seemed to nearly have a nervous breakdown over fears of being harmed by MAGA supporters if he were to vote to certify the 2020 election results. He asked his new colleague if he was okay. Alberta reported. The member responded that he was not. That no matter his belief in the legitimacy of this election, he could no longer vote to certify the results because he feared for his family's safety. Remember, this wasn't a hypothetical. You were casting that vote after seeing with your own two eyes what some of these people are capable of, Meyer said. If they were willing to come after you inside the U.S. Capitol, what will they do when you're at home with your kids? So I guess instead of standing up and doing the right thing, they said, you know what? Let's just stick the mob on trans people. Let's stick the mob on gay people on the left. Let's do that. Look, here's the thing. Y'all built this, all right? Any of these Republican congressmen that are quoted in the story that voted to save themselves, y'all built this, okay? This is what you did, right? And not only just you, okay? You have Fox News, okay? Fox News, a lot of these Republicans through their campaigns and the billionaires, okay, that funded them and funded these ads, they stoked fear and anger into the people, into this base, okay, in order to get their votes. And now they have created a monster, and they are afraid of that monster. Getting back to Stevens, he had said, quote, a guy sends a mob into your workplace to kill you, and you're okay with that? Now, one of the people that's apparently not okay with that is former Vice President Mike Pence, who actually is like saying, oh, I don't know if I'm comfortable with all this stuff. So now, Stevens says, I talked to Lincoln Project donors. These are powerful and wealthy people. And I can tell you a percentage of them are talking about leaving the country. Oh, isn't that nice to be able to do that? Wow, to leave before things get too bad. Would have been nice had you not effed it up in the first place. Look, these billionaire donors that gave money to the Republican Party, they are largely to blame for setting the table, making things so bad in this country that there is so much populist anger that allowed someone like Donald Trump to come into the first place, okay, to come into power, all right? Look, all we want is fairness, right? We want the rich to pay their taxes, what they owe, and we want to get health care, okay? And we want to get a good education for our children, okay? But instead, these donors and these Republicans screwed the whole country. And now we're smack dab into fascism. Now, another Republican who spoke openly, Bill Kristol of the Bulwark. Now, Bill Kristol is a neocon, so I am no fan of his, all right? But to his credit, he's not giving any cover to these Republicans. He said that they could ignore these threats if they wanted to from their base. Quote, senators could probably get quite a bit of protection if they need it, so I'm a little less sympathetic. I share that sentiment completely. All right. Broken clocks and all. All right. Look, these Republicans, at the end of the day, they wanted to stay in power and collect their checks from the giant donors. All right. Who basically just want to do nothing but rip apart the state so they can make more money. Elon Musk is a great example. Okay. They got what they wanted. Donald Trump's out there dismantling government as we speak, with help from Elon Musk and his blunderkins. Okay. And oh, look, you know, all that is ripping apart our country, making us less safe, putting us in more danger of pandemics. So, honestly, I don't care about their regret. I don't care. I have no sympathy for them. I have absolutely no sympathy. They got exactly what they wanted at the end of the day. And now that they realize the monster they created, now they're scared. No, I hope this monster, it's going to come for us all. But I hope it gets to them first. Because they helped create it, and they should have to deal with it. As Emperor, God, King, President Donald Trump continues to unilaterally gut the government, lay off thousands of critical federal workers, and consolidate his own power in the executive branch, some Democrats are having regret for voting for some of his cabinet nominees. In fact, one of them, Senator Richard Blumenthal, is one of those blue dog kind of centrists, said, quote, "I do regret it. Voting for VA Secretary Doug Collins was a mistake, and I apologize to the veterans of this country." Blumenthal's comments followed the Trump administration's decision to terminate more than 1,000 VA department employees, including veterans and workers combating veteran suicide at the Veterans Crisis Line. So here's the one thing, and it's not just applicable to the VA, right? But a lot of the government workers are former soldiers. They are veterans. So when you think of the thousands of government workers being laid off, there's a big chunk of them that served our country and now worked for the government. I mean, I'm look, my uncle's lucky, right? Because he worked for the SSA and then just retired this year. So he just barely got out before Trump got into power and did all these cuts. So, I mean, he was a veteran, served in Afghanistan, okay, disarming mines. So he's airborne, paratrooper. And so it's like, you know, this is a guy served the country, right? Got a job with the government, SSA, and people like him getting cut all across the government workforce. So that's who's being fired right now. Okay, that's who's being fired. And you know, people like Blumenthal were like, "Oh yeah, no, let's just approve everything, every nominee that Trump has, you know, so we can be bipartisan." Right, right. Now, look, these cuts, by the way, they're part of the Trump and of course Elon Musk's broader effort to slash the federal workforce to, you know, allegedly save some money, which really you're not finding the majority of savings from cutting these people, but you are, and this is what Elon Musk's goal is, to basically cut oversight, any oversight that, you know, these agencies would have on him. Okay. And of course, it's not just those agencies that have, you know, any direct ties to possibly regulating him or his businesses, but he's just doing it to everybody, right? You know, oh yeah, no, we're just going to cut the size of government because that's really what I want to do. And I, you know, want to help my friends, my other rich friends, privatize. So that's what we're doing here. Now, Collins was confirmed by the Senate earlier this month by a wide bipartisan margin, 77 to 23. Okay. So why does Blumenthal have some regrets now? Quote, he has betrayed the promises that he made to me during his confirmation hearing. And maybe my vote was understandable in light of those promises. I took him at his word. You took him at his word.
You idiot.
Oh my God.
Stupid. Stupid.
Never do that. Okay. But I regret it now because he has not only broken those promises, he's failed to respond to my 20 plus inquiries. Completely failed to respond to my and my colleagues' inquiries because they've joined me as to the specific reasons, the effects, and the relief that he's going to afford veterans. Oh, so you're saying he just ghosted you? You voted for him and he ghosted you. And now you're like, I can't believe it. I can't believe a Republican would lie to me. Say it ain't so. Idiots. Now, Senator Andy Kim also upset. He told Migrant Insider that he regrets voting to confirm Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. The freshman New Jersey senator was one of 7 Democrats who voted in favor of Noem's confirmation. Kim confirmed on Thursday that he will not be voting for any more Trump nominees going forward because the administration has been shuttering federal agencies one by one, which they had promised to do. The Republicans have been promising for decades to shut down things like the, education department, labor department, things like that. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Okay. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. Now, he also expressed disappointment with answers that former Oregon Representative Lori Chavez DeRemer, Trump's nominee that had the Labor Department, gave during her confirmation hearing on Thursday. Quote, I want someone that's going to stand up for workers. I got news for you. Republicans will never put up someone who will actually stand for workers. No, they're going to put somebody who at least says, I'm going to bust the unions. Okay. They've never been in favor of workers. Okay. Now, Senator Chris Van Hollen had expressed similar misgivings about voting to confirm Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Speaking with CNN last week, Van Hollen cited Rubio helping to dismantle the U.S. Agency for International Aid. Okay. So that's USAID. My one vote I cast for a member of the Trump cabinet was for now Secretary Rubio. Van Hollen told the network, I regret to say that I regret that vote. Because once installed in office, he is essentially abandoning the positions he took here as a United States Senator. Rubio said he was going to consult with us on the USAID situation. So yes, I've been extremely disappointed in the actions of Secretary Rubio.
Stupid.
How did you not see this one coming? How? Do you actually believe these people when they tell you things? How could you be that dumb? Look, I know they're not stupid. Okay? These are intelligent people. So what's going on? What's the reality? It's because they keep playing by the old rules. Okay? So those old rules are, oh, well, we must have decorum and we must have comity. That's right. The gentlemen from such and such state. No, we're not playing by that anymore. Okay. So look, they vote to support Trump's nominees. They think, oh, and then, maybe Republicans will occasionally throw us a bone. And then we're going to work together to pass bills that will enrich our wealthy donors. That's how the game is normally played. And the thing is, Trump's not quite playing that game. Okay. Yes, at the end of the day, he's still going to enrich wealthy donors, right? His wealthy donors, and mainly him and Elon Musk. Okay. But he's also taking as much power as he can. And he does not care about the previous agreement that, Republicans and Democrats had. All right? All Trump cares about is getting more and more power. Okay? So, now speaking of power, okay, you might be wondering, well, look, what can the Democrats do? You can't actually stop them, these Republicans, from, you don't have a majority. Keith Jeffries is like, What leverage do we have? Well, just because you can't stop Trump's nominees from being confirmed because you don't have enough numbers, right? Doesn't mean that you can't fight on principle. I know. Oh man, a member of Congress actually having some principles? Cool. Look, I understand that, yes, the numbers game is not good for Democrats, obviously. But there is other places where you can fight him as well. And that also means that you don't have to confirm all of his nominees. Okay? And you should have never done that in the beginning. All right? But yes, you can oppose Trump elsewhere. For example, when he violates the Constitution, which he's doing a lot. Okay? This is not the time for comity and bipartisanship. Okay? You're an opposition party now. Freaking act like it. And by the way, this is what the voters are telling you to do. Okay? Democratic voters are currently pissed with the way that the party is handling Trump. And by handling, basically with kids' gloves. Okay? According to a Quinnipiac University poll released on Wednesday, 40% of Democrats approve of the way Democratic lawmakers are handling their job, while 49% disapprove. So I think that number should be a hell of a lot higher. All right. And I know that Democrats, they love to stick with their leadership. Okay. And defend their leadership while the leadership throws them to the wolves. Okay. That's what they've been doing. Speaking of the leadership, where's Harris? Where's Kamala Harris? Where's Joe Biden? Where's Barack Obama? Where are they? Why are they not full throat denouncing everything that Donald Trump is doing? What are they doing? They are signing 8-figure book deals and accepting image awards while Donald Trump is ripping the country apart. The only people that are fighting are, you've got Democratic governors, to be fair. J.B. Pritzker, by the way. J.B. Pritzker is a billionaire. But he's actually putting up more stiff backbone resistance to Trump than, people that are in Congress. Then you got Tim Walz also fighting. You got congressmen and men and women like, for example, AOC, right? Fighting against Tom Homan. You got Bernie Sanders and others. Okay, Bernie Sanders, for example, while you've got Hakeem Jeffries going to Silicon Valley to go talk to the donors, right? You have Bernie Sanders out there going to purple states on a let's fight oligarchy tour to try to reach, abandoned Democratic voters. That's what Bernie Sanders is doing, okay? And that's while these Democrats, the other Democrats, Democratic leadership is getting mad that their voters keep calling them and asking them to do something. Yeah. So look, I talked about in another segment that Republican congressmen are afraid of their base. Okay. So, and that's what can we do? They're like, I'm scared of these guys. These guys are crazy. Their own voters, right? They're afraid of their voters. But Democrats have the opposite problem. Democrats, the politicians hate the voters. They really do. And they're constantly ignoring them, berating them, saying that things like, oh, for every blue collar worker we lose in Pennsylvania, we'll pick up 2 suburban Republicans. Once again, the Democratic Party, their big thing is we need to appeal to Republican voters, which never works. Never works. And they get mad at their own base, their own voters, because they hate them and refuse to do the bare minimum to oppose the far right. Now, these people are paid to lose, paid to put up the weakest little modicum of resistance against this far right. That's why the Democrats are so ineffective. President Donald Trump's new interim DC prosecutor is attempting to shut down any criticism of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. So this is United States Attorney Ed Martin, who launched the Operation Whirlwind. Oh boy. Now, this is billed as an effort to try to curb threats to all public officials, Hmm. but really is a way to chill free speech, to make sure that any detractors, dissenters against Trump and Musk and what they're doing are silenced. Okay. Now, the program, according to an email sent to all Department of Justice staff, appears to have been started after Martin spoke with senior Musk aides about alleged threats to him and his band of 20 something blunderkins after their identities were revealed. Turns out, big balls, pretty scared. Well, wouldn't that be the opposite of having big balls then? Just saying. If they shrivel up every time somebody says, hey, you probably shouldn't be rooting around in our social security numbers, okay, and getting our personal information, not so big, are they? But anyway, here's what Martin wrote. Free speech has limits, and threatening government workers crosses the line. We will stop the storm of threats against officials at all levels. You know what's ironic? These are the same people who are totally okay with threats against people like, for example, Barack Obama, okay? Hillary Clinton with lock her up, those chants, okay? You remember the people who threatened Barack Obama when he was president? They literally had gun ranges with his face, targets with his face on them so that people could shoot them. Yeah. But those were not considered to be threats at all. No. But oh my God, you say that I don't really feel comfortable with, Elon Musk and his goons having our personal information. Maybe we should have some safeguards against that. They're like, oh, you need to stop the threats. Oh, you're so dangerous. Now, look, I don't want anybody getting death threats, obviously, right? And I'm sure, yeah, probably Musk has received a few. Okay, and I don't agree with that, right? But here's the thing, though. What is likely happening is Martin is not referring to actual threats. Why is that? Well, he sent out some letters of inquiry on what he considered to be threats against Elon Musk and Donald Trump. So now, in one of them, he targeted Representative Robert Garcia of California, and in another, he targeted Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Okay. So now, first, Martin wanted Garcia to, quote, clarify his statement to CNN last week. So what was that statement? He said, quote, what the American public wants is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. So that is referring to pushing back against Musk and Doge, slashing the federal workforce. Okay. And he added, this is an actual fight for democracy. Yes, because Elon Musk is unelected. Nobody elected him and put him in this position to have so much personal information over all of us while having all these conflicts of interest with his own businesses. I think that's a problem. So that's definitely undemocratic. But now, apparently, that's a threat. Martin's letter alluded to the comment sounding like a direct threat to Musk and his staff. No, just stay out of things that you're not supposed to be into. Okay? Your committee, non-committee. Okay? Your non-agency agency. Whatever it is. But again, just the hypocrisy here. I mean, do you remember when Republicans would routinely run ads with violent rhetoric and imagery? And a lot of guns. There are a lot of guns. I mean, you had Marjorie Taylor Greene shooting in a car, blowing it up with the word socialism on it, and saying, I'm blowing up the socialist Democrats' policy. That's it. And then she held a raffle for that gun. It was a 50 caliber rifle. So, but that's not violent at all. Okay. But talking about a bar fight, that's too much. It's a bridge too far, everybody. Oh my God. Violent rhetoric. How dare you? No, this is projection. It's always been projection. Now, by the way, speaking of projection, right? The whole free speech argument, right? Oh no, we believe in free speech, says the far right. And That's why we're going to shut down all the free speech. That's why, oh, no, Elon Musk, I am the free speech guy. And then try to type in cisgender when you're on X. See what happens. Yeah. No. So again, this really didn't actually come from any threats. Okay. Turns out that Musk and Doge workers themselves were like, ooh, I don't like that people are criticizing us. So we need to shut that down. We don't. It turns out people don't like it when we're unlawfully rooting around in personal information for millions of Americans. Yeah, we don't. We don't. Just stay out of it. Okay, stay out of it. That's all they're asking for. But anyway, now the letter also read, their concerns have led to this inquiry. We take threats against public officials very seriously. I'm sure you do. I look forward to your cooperation. Now, Garcia responded in a written statement saying, quote, we will not be silenced. No reasonable person would view these comments as a threat. And it's interesting that the letter was sent to the Washington Post, yet we have not received it. Definitely a warning there. We are living in a dangerous time, he said, and elected members of Congress must have the right to forcefully oppose the Trump administration. Now, that's the Garcia letter. The Schumer letter is even more ridiculous, okay? So the letter that Martin sent to Schumer was about comments that he made on the Senate floor in March 2020 regarding the Trump-appointed Supreme Court justices, okay? Schumer said that they had, quote, released the whirlwind and will pay the price. Yes, electorally. It means electorally. I mean, imagine believing that Chuck Schumer is a danger. That man is pillowy soft. Okay? Come on. The next day, Schumer was like, oh, no. Oh, I apologize for the wording. Oh, the wording was not good. It's because some Republicans were like, oh, how dare you, Chuck? Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry. I was too tough. Weak. Totally weak and pathetic. This is the Democratic leadership. Okay? No one with a brain could see that as an expression of violence. Come on. No, everybody knows. This is simply a tactic to clamp down on any dissent of what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are doing, which is, again, hurting the country. Okay? I mean, destroying the federal workforce, a lot of which are veterans, by the way. Making unemployment go a lot higher. Taking away, like, freezing programs that feed hungry children. Okay, that's what they're doing. Now, Barbara McQuaid, a former federal prosecutor and University of Michigan law professor, told the Post, these letters, which are unprecedented in tone for a federal prosecutor, are, quote, designed to chill free speech than to seek clarification, as they purport to do. Look, when it comes to free speech, okay, it is literally about stopping the government from coming after you if you speak ill of it. That's the whole purpose of free speech. All right? So, redress of grievances, basically, right? So you're out there demanding a redress of grievances from the government. The government cannot imprison you for that. Okay? That's what's going on here. Okay? Now, unfortunately, the right wing has been allowed to turn free speech into, well, it's my right to say the N-word anywhere I want without any consequences whatsoever. What? No, that's not what that is. That's not what free speech is about. Okay. But it just shows you how they never, ever actually really believed in freedom of speech, nor do they really even know what's in the Constitution, because for them, it's basically toilet paper. A new poll out shows that Americans really don't like billionaires, especially tech bro billionaires that happen to get into politics. Now, this is according to a new Pew Research poll. Americans do not have a favorable opinion of both Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. In fact, over half of US adults reported that they have an unfavorable view of Musk, while 42% said that they view him positively. Okay. And I'm not explaining why that is, but Zuckerberg's unfavorables were even worse 67%. Okay. With only 25% expressing a positive view of the founder of Meta. Mm, mm. Now, that said, Pew Research did find that Musk is a far more polarizing figure than Zuckerberg. People just hate Zuck, right? Okay, and I get it. But partisan wise, well, this is where things get a little more interesting. Turns out most Republicans view Elon Musk favorably, while more Democrats view Musk more unfavorably. Okay. 73% of Republicans, along with the Republican leading independents, said they have a favorable view of the Tesla founder. Actually, not the Tesla founder, because he went and bought Tesla. He didn't found it, he bought it from two guys. Okay. So, little correction on that one, right? Now, that said, only 12% of Democrats and Democratic leaners reported having a favorable opinion of Musk. On the other hand, Zuck is viewed unfavorably by majorities in both parties. They included 6 in 10 Republicans and around 3/4 of Democrats, including 87% of liberal Democrats. Gee, maybe it's because, they silenced the left. Could be. Could be. But that said, hey, at least there's one billionaire we've all decided to hate. Yay. Progress. Now, that said, younger people are more likely to hate both. Older Republicans, of course, love Elon Musk. So, now, that's just one poll from Pew. There's another from Quinnipiac, right? Showing that a majority of voters say that they think the tech billionaire Elon Musk has too much power in making decisions that affect the country. Only 55%. Okay. That say this is self-identified registered voters. They say that Musk has too much power. I would agree. 36% say he has about the right amount of power, and 3% said he has too little. 3%. So we found the Musk bootlickers. Now, breaking that down by party, 96% of Democrats say Musk has too much power, compared to 56% of independents and 16% of Republicans. Those who say he has the right amount of power include 78% of Republicans, 33% of independents, and 1% of Democrats. Republicans. Y'all say you hate the elites, but boy, do you love licking billionaire boots. Just saying. Not all Republicans, of course. In fact, there's one of Trump's allies, Steve Bannon, who is not a very big fan of Elon Musk. In fact, he recently went on CNN to warn the MAGA faithful that these billionaires will betray them.
I'm not a conservative, right? I'm a Republican because I've registered Republican. I'm really a populist nationalist. So as you see here today, these are working class and middle class people, and they don't want the concentration of power. And by the way, those oligarchs and people at CNN are understanding that. Just like they've turned on you now, right? They've abandoned the progressive left. They will abandon us in the same thing. They seek power. Right now, their feeling is they can see the math, and they see that we have a building coalition. Yeah. So they're with us, but only temporarily.
Okay, so first off, I kind of really hate that I have to agree with Steve Bannon about anything. Okay? This guy's broken clocks. Okay? Now, look, do these, tech bros, do they want power? Yes, of course they do. And they also want wealth. All right? But I love the idea from Bannon that, see, the oligarchs, they were with the progressive left once, and then they betrayed them. What? No leftists, okay? I mean, we're not talking about liberals, okay? Leftists have always distrusted and fought against billionaires, okay? Hate the idea of the super wealthy, all right? Now, the problem here is that in the Democratic Party, a lot of liberals took the side of the billionaires against the left. Okay? You had these billionaires, you had these very, very wealthy companies coming in and saying, Medicare for all bad. And then there are Democratic voters that are like, yes, Medicare for all bad. Oh, they're going to take away my health insurance. No, they're not. They're literally going to give you and everyone else far superior insurance. Government sponsored insurance. It's going to be cheaper. It's going to be more comprehensive. But yet, the billionaires were able to convince these Democratic voters, like, no, we must protect the insurance industry. We must stop them from taxing the rich because they will create jobs. Yeah. The left says things like billionaires shouldn't exist. And some of these liberals would get all upset and be like, how dare you? How dare you? That's not very nice. The Democratic Party has consistently blocked the left from achieving any kind of political power. Okay. And they did so, a lot of them, by taking right wing billionaire money and using it to crush progressives in primary elections. Now, there are some like John Fetterman who just lied about being a progressive at all. Okay. Just completely BS'd his way. Okay. So, lying about all of that. And then immediately when getting into power, started sucking up to Donald Trump, who's a billionaire, as well as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, okay, who receives billions of dollars from both parties, okay? And so, yeah, the DNC still takes giant corporate donations, okay? Tons and tons of money. So now, look, a question that's being asked by progressives, for example, Nina Turner, asked what's to prevent Elon Musk from using his vast fortune, okay, because he gave $277 million to Donald Trump's campaign, okay? What's to stop him from getting involved in Democratic primaries to try to prevent any candidate from winning that could stand up to Donald Trump? What's to prevent that? Nothing. In fact, the new DNC chair is like, well, we're going to only take money from the good billionaires. What? There is no such thing. There's no such thing as a good billionaire. And I'm not talking about them personally or their morals. I'm sure there's some out there that think, no, I want to do the right thing, right? No, the problem is the existence of billionaires, okay? The existence of people who have more money than they can spend an entire lifetime is a bad thing. It is a systemic failure, okay? When you have more money than you could spend in several lifetimes, while people starve, that is a huge problem. That is an indictment of our system. It shows that the apportionment of resources that we have in this country is incredibly skewed. Okay. And then you have these people that can literally buy the White House, buy the presidency, and then make even more money in return. That is the problem with billionaires. So at the end of the day, the obscene upward concentration of wealth in this country has obliterated the American dream. It is dead. Now, the sooner that people wake up to that fact, and that we are in a class war, and that no billionaires are going to come to save us, okay, the sooner we can actually get together, get some class consciousness, and fight against the real problem. And that is the greed and the money that has infested our political system. Get the money out, get the greed out, and then you could actually have people that, represent us and not the billionaire donors. The man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, Luigi Mangione, just received a massive donation to his legal defense after President Donald Trump issued an executive order bringing back the federal death penalty. It convicted of federal murder charges. The 26-year-old could be eligible for the death penalty if they seek it out, which, for me, I believe they will. Now, he was arraigned in federal court on 2 counts of stalking, one count of murder through use of a firearm and a firearms offense. He's also facing multiple state charges in New York and Pennsylvania. So this is the alleged killer, innocent until proven guilty. Now, as a result of Trump's announcement of the lifting of the moratorium on the federal death penalty charge, an anonymous donor gave $11,000 to Mangione's defense fund. The donation is the largest listed on the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. Why? Well, the donor said the death penalty should not be politicized, but they are concerned that it will continue to be given Donald Trump's executive order. Quote, I am also concerned about the severe infringement on the defendant's right to a fair trial and due process, particularly since his juries are effectively pre-tainted. Wouldn't be wrong. Now, Karen Friedman Agnifilo, an attorney for Mangione, previously told Newsweek that her client will use this money that is donated to him to fight the cases in the multiple jurisdictions. Luigi is aware of the fund and very much appreciates the outpouring of support. My client plans on utilizing it to fight all three of the unprecedented cases against him. The fund has raised currently around just shy of $500,000. So Mangione also released his own statement onto the public website, or I should say to the public on a website managed by his attorneys, saying this, quote, I am overwhelmed by and grateful for everyone who has written me to share their stories and express their support. Powerfully, this support has transcended political, racial, and even class divisions. As mail has flooded MDC from across the country and around the globe, while it is impossible for me to reply to most letters, please know that I read every one that I receive. So here's the thing, right? Do I believe that Trump, or at least some people adjacent to Trump, might want to use the Mangione trial if he is convicted in order to, send a message? Absolutely. There's no question about it. Why? Well, it goes down to class solidarity, right? Remember, Brian Thompson was a very wealthy CEO. And one of the reasons he got so wealthy is because he pushed certain changes to United Healthcare's denial of care that denied a lot more care, but made him and the company very, very wealthy. They got a ton of money. Look, United Healthcare was denying about a quarter of all claims that were made. Okay? Regardless, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's just they see something, denied. You don't actually need the care. Okay? And there are horror stories all across the internet that I have shared before of examples of this denial of care. And now, it wasn't just, again, it's not just a quarter of all claims. So let me fact check myself, right? It's actually a third of all claims, around 31 to 33% of all claims that were denied by United Healthcare. Okay. Now, as for elderly folks on Medicare Advantage plans, that number actually went up to about 90%. I kid you not. This was not by accident. You have to understand that every time these companies deny a medical claim, that means more money for them. Again, the way insurance is supposed to work is we pay a premium into a pool, right? So you get enough people that pay their premiums and it creates this big pool of money so that when somebody needs care to get paid for, that money will come out of the pool and take care of that person. Okay, pay for a surgery or for medication. Okay, that's how it's supposed to work. But these executives think, well, wait a minute, we've got this giant pile of money sitting here. Why don't we just deny the care and pocket it ourselves? Why not? Who's gonna stop us? And so that's the way our system works. That's why for-profit health insurance is a scam. That's why Americans pay more for our health care than any other country in the world while having, at the same time, worse health outcomes. Okay, so now Trump and his friends, his wealthy friends, then look at that and say, well, that's good business right there. Wow, that's great. And so one of the things in punishing anyone who stands up against that system is, well, we want to make sure that no one questions that anymore. Okay, there's too much class consciousness going on right now. Okay, look, right after the shooting of Thompson, people on both sides were like, "Hey, wait a minute! Turns out we are getting screwed over. Hmm, maybe the person who did this might have had a point." And again, we don't know that it's Mangione. He's only been accused, right? Um, but there was a time where there was a bit of class consciousness that was going on here, and people were going, "Whoa, wait a minute! Turns out these insurance companies really are screwing us over." Hmm. So billionaires, they see that and they want to shut that right down. They consistently would tell the press that, for example, Washington Post, owned by billionaire Jeff Bezos, right? Think about poor Thompson. Oh, he leaves behind a family. His family is, again, sympathize with the loss, right? But as far as their family is concerned, when it comes to monetary stuff, they'll be just fine. But families that have had members of their family denied care, that bankrupted members of their family, and drained their savings, they lost their livelihoods, they lost their homes and all that stuff. When it comes to the money, they're not going to be fine, and they end up also losing their loved one. So think about those families, okay? But the billionaires, they didn't want us thinking about that. Most people were not buying that and were like, no, actually, no, we're not going to change our opinion here. Yes, we still think that murder is wrong, of course. And that, what he did, we don't approve of it, but we understand why. We understand why, okay? Someone would target someone like that, okay? That was bankrupting families through denials of care, okay? So, of course, you have people that want to shut down any of that thought so that we don't consider it, we don't think about it. And one of the ways that they're trying to do it now is to basically silence any stories about it and not talk about the expense of healthcare in this country, how these business practices have not changed. And more importantly, if you do something radical, that the Trump administration specifically is going to come at you with the death penalty. So that sends a huge message. And so do I think that if Mangione is convicted, that they are going to use him to do the maximum sentence on him, the death penalty, in order to send that message? You damn right they will. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.